Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is Rideshare Buddy UK. My name's Kevin, and today is Mothering Sunday. So it may be busy. I've come out on a Sunday. What I've got a morning pickup, 10 to 12 pickup in Cardiff at a school going to Bristol Airport. They're going to drop down into Chepstow and work Chepstow for Mother's Day. We might get a bit of work this afternoon and early evening. We'll see what happens. Time now is 10 to 11, so I've got an hour just to finish off the charge and then head over to Cardiff for my first passenger, and then down into Chepstow. Let's have a quick look at the stats. So it does look as though I'm going to hit my 1,000-mile limit again this week. So I'm going to expect an excess mileage charge next Friday. It's only Sunday and I've already done close on 700 miles. I've had a couple of good runs yesterday. So let's have a quick look at the stats. Right, temperature wise it's 14 degrees C. I've been on charge for about 15 minutes. 150 kilowatt charge is the BP ones at Malpass Road, and because it's quite pleasant, very warm in fact, I'm pulling in 120 kilowatts, so I'll be charged up in about just over 30 minutes, up to 90%. So that's what I've done so far since Thursday, 680 miles. I reckon I'm going to do maybe 850 miles by the end of the day, giving me about 150 miles until next Thursday. I'm going to obviously have 2 or 3 days off. Weather's nice, fishing time, but even so, there's a good chance I'm going to hit my mileage limit again. 78,000 miles so far. I'm going to have to get the car booked in for its 80,000 mile service. I've just checked the battery on the dongle and I'm still 100% at 78,000. State of health is still 100%. But let's get finished charging and then we get on our way for our first trip out to Bristol Airport. Right, so I've taken up to 90%. I'm getting quite good range at the moment with the weather warming up, so I've got 252 miles on the battery. So it's heading back up towards that 300 mile range. Normally in the summer at 90%, I should have about 290, 295, maybe hit about 300, depending on my driving style at the time. And we are heading up towards that way. So it's getting more economical to run the car, and that means profits are heading up. Right, this is actually airport job. There's an OTS job. I don't do a lot of them anymore, and I doubt I'll do many from April, because again, the new national minimum wage means you have to be really tight and really careful and what sort of work you do. This one's not too bad, but generally from April, from in a couple of days, the only OTS work I'll be doing is when I've already got my own work to come back or go, or I can double up. They don't pay as standalone anymore. Plus the fact I haven't even bothered applying for anything to Heathrow or Gatwick anymore, because the London drivers have killed the rates. What used to be about 110, 120 a mile is now down to less than £1 a mile after you take off the car parking and pick up or drop off charges. Can't do that at all now. So really most of my airport work now is my own work. OTS just doesn't pay at the moment. Certainly won't be paid from April. But one of the best things about the weather getting nicer again is that it takes so quick to charge up the car that I'm sat around twiddling my thumbs waiting for my passengers. But that's not too bad. I was going to give the car a wash because I had about 20 minutes, 25 minutes extra. But this is a posh part of Cardiff, and they don't have things like car washes and supermarkets with car washes. So I've just parked up, doing a bit of a chat, doing a bit of browsing on the web, and just wasting a bit of time. like I'm wasting yours at the moment. Oh yeah, that's my my new cards, which I've put up. Got these picture hanger type things. I'm going to see for with Velcro. Just going to see for they stay put. I think they will. But it's a very basic, simple card displaying Taxi Caller. That's the name I operate under on the Taxi Caller app. And you got the Google and Apple QR codes for people to download. So I did a couple of Taxi Caller jobs yesterday. About 4 Taxi Caller jobs yesterday. And I'm having a bit of a problem. Since I've done a Square app update, the Taxi Caller and Square doesn't seem to be operating. So it's not integrating properly. So whether Square's done something which stops it, I don't know. So mainly I'm just on in-app payment. So we'll see how that goes. Certainly makes life easier for me. But I do have my machine if needed. Right, it's 10 past 1, so quite a gentle ride out. Lots of traffic on the road, being Mothering Sunday. So what I'm going to do now is head straight into Chepstow, pop down Tesco's, grab lunch, meal deal, before we start working on Chepstow, see what happens there. That card holder is already working. 2 French students stroke teachers or whatever from a Catholic residential school in Cardiff have taken the cards because they say they do fly quite a lot. So hopefully they just fly during the daytime hours because I don't do nights. So we'll see what happens there. Just a quick thing on the Taxi Caller app. Because I had just in-app payments yesterday, I did a few, but one of the passengers contacted me and said that they think they got charged twice. Now, what it was a pre-authorisation charge and then also the actual charge. What I didn't realise is, having checked up on it, that pre-authorisation payments at standard on the Taxi Caller is 7 days. So there's a holding charge on that amount on your bank for 7 days. Way too long as far as I'm concerned. So I've switched off the pre-authorisation on the plug-in. So there's no pre-authorisation charge to check that they've got the money in the credit card and the credit card is valid. So what I'll do later tonight after I finish work, I'm going to get onto the Stripe payment gateway, which is a payment gateway for in-app payments, and have a hunt through my settings to see if I can change that holding charge default time limit. 7 days is too long. I thought that the holding charge would drop out as soon as the payment was made, but it doesn't. So I'm going to see if I can, there's something in my settings on Stripe that allows me to change that. It may be just that is the way it's set for the API that Taxi Caller uses from Stripe, but I'm sure there's got to be a way to make the change. But anyway, I've also set up in-card payments for today if needed. What I have to remember is to jot down how much the fare is, because as soon as I hit job complete, it all disappears on the driver's app. The Stripe, the Square app doesn't open. It doesn't take to a payment page. It just disappears. The passenger, though, on their app will get a receipt saying that it was paid in cash. So they do get a receipt to show the amount. It's just that me as a driver just doesn't. Now, what Taxi Caller's asked me to do is to screenshot or screen record the process when I do the test purchase and then send it to them so their tech guys can have a look and see what's going on. Because it's only just started since the Square POS app update, I think Square's probably changed something in the app which stops taxi caller from opening up the Square app. Because the other thing that's happened with the Square payment is that at one time you could do tap and pay, or you could use the little Square boxes. What you couldn't do was use the full-scale terminal to take payment from the app. That has now been changed. I've now paired my big terminal to the Square app. Sorry, a bit technical, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what the issue is. So now I can my big terminal can take payment from my Square point of sale app. So I think it's something to do with the Square app. I think they've done a little bit of a change which has stopped a taxi caller from opening up that app, and then taxi caller just defaults to a cash paid system receipt for the customer, but the driver doesn't get anything. So I'll just have to jot down how much the job is when it comes through, that's all, and then pay for the app. Yeah, enough blabber, let's get on to Chepstow. This is interesting. I've just arrived at Tesco's. I'm going up to get something to eat. I was just going to work out how much my pence per mile is now with the latest Tesla discounts. Pricing has changed at Newport, at Celtic Manor. There used to be off-peak and on top peak time, and the top peak time was 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. They've changed that now. Peak time is now from 8 a.m. to, it looks like, yeah, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is peak time at Celtic Manor, Tesla now. 43 pence. Then from 8 until midnight, it drops to 36 pence. And then from midnight till, from midnight to 8 a.m, it's 33 pence. So Tesla Newport now is no cheaper than Ionity at Mega at 43 pence 24 hours. Because most of my charging is done between that 8 and 8, which is now peak time at Newport. Yeah, not good. Okay, it's 2:30. First job, let's start the clock and start the music.
Of white and grey behind an empty space, can't always tell what you're thinking, but now it ain't the same. On and on we said with us forever. came around to save me. Now you don't talk and I won't listen. Still like a fool I stay.
Right, so it's 6:30. I think I might call it a day. I've been out 8 hours now. I'll be home in 20 minutes. I've only got 39 miles left in the battery. I've done just over 200 miles today. I've done a lot of miles. Some of it was dead mileage, but it was just one of those things. I've done 76, I think it was, on the OTS, 68.93 on Uber, and I think it was £18 on Taxi Caller, something like that. Do the checks up above. But because we've only got 30 miles left, 39 miles left, by the time I've charged up, it's going to take 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. That's going to take me way past 7 o'clock. So I'm going to call it a day, I think. Still all bright red. Of course, it's Mothering Sunday and the end of Eid, so there's no Muslim drivers on the road while everybody's trying to get home. That last guy that dropped off in Marshfield had been waiting an hour and a half. You'd have thought he'd have given up and gone to somewhere local. But no, he's an Uber. He wanted Uber X. He wanted the cheapest rates available, and he had to wait for it. I just fell on that one by accident because I'd forgot to switch on my preferences and just go priority. I forgot about that, so he sneaked in. But that's right. But Uber and their routing is up to the old tricks, as you saw in the video. Tried to take me down a bridle path, not even a road. I mean, I know Uber treats us like donkeys sometimes, and they'll be feeding us sugar cubes soon instead of money. But the interesting thing would be, what would happen if that was a driverless car? If the route planner had said you could go down there and it was a road, what would have happened with a riderless car? Driverless car. Interesting. But the other big thing is, I had a no-show on Taxi Caller. I was in Chepstow. The job was at the Celtic Manor, but because I really want to try and get into that Celtic Manor, I ran for it. It was only about a £12 job, and the guy wasn't there. even though he booked for 4 o'clock, it just wasn't there. So what I've done is I've switched off credit cards and it's just app payments now. So that at least gives me the opportunity to charge some waiting time and it'll come out of your account if there's a no-show. So what the question is, what would you do? Because I know no-shows are a real big problem in the taxis. I've got 3 options. The first option is suck it up. That's the way it is in this trade. You have to have no-shows. The second option, which I've done to this guy, is taxi caller. Oh, it's all red and orange. Taxi caller gives you off the ability to run a blacklist, and I'll put him on the blacklist. So do I normally just run, and if nobody's a no-show, I'll just throw him on the blacklist, and eventually I'll have those people who multi-book would eventually end up on the blacklist and won't be able to book with me. So I could do that. Or the third option is to do what Uber does, it's in-app payments only, and there's a no-show fee and waiting time fee to pay if you don't turn up. So that's 3 options. Do I do nothing and just suck up the loss? Do I just suck up the loss but add them onto a blacklist so they don't do it again? And the third option, do I just make sure they pay through the app? Interesting. Your thoughts? But let's just get home and then I'll quickly run through the jobs I've done today, the mileage and the payments for each job. Right, let's quickly run through the jobs. But first, just look at that. Absolutely crazy. Bright red, but you know what? I can't be asked. Because even when it's all bright red, the rates on Uber aren't particularly great. There used to be a time they were good. There'd be 1 time, then 2 times fare, 3 times fare, 4 times fare, even up to 5 or 6 times fare. But I think because I got such bad news and bad publicity over some of the more extreme fares, now a surge, you might get 0.5 times fare, 0.7 times fare, and that's considered to be a really good surge. Can't be asked with it. So let them wait an hour and a half if that's what they want to do. I don't care. I've got my taxi caller app still on, so if anyone wants to move over to taxi caller, I will go and do that job, but not at Uber's prices. So today, what have we done? We did £78 on that that Cardiff girls' school to Bristol Airport, £78. I think it was about 48 miles. But after that, we went into Chepstow. And Chepstow, we started at Chepstow to Redcliffe in Bristol, 16.75 miles, UberX, £22.13. I forgot to switch off UberX. One of the things I've noticed is that when you go out of region and you come back into the region, it resets all of the preferences. So I forgot to reset it back to priority last night, I think. So anyway, first job, Chepstow to Redcliffe, UberX, 16.75 miles, £22.13. Then we had an UberX Priority, Chepstow to Chepstow. That was from St Pierre down to the bus station, 2.83 miles, £11.62. Then we went to pick up at Mathern, which is where I ended up going down the bridle track, back into Newport. UberX, 18.86 miles, £23.43. And that last job I just did, UberX, 7 Styles Avenue, Spitty Retail Park, go to Marshfield, 8.16 miles, £11.75. And then I had a taxi caller, Chepstow to Chepstow. That was from the boat going out to St Pierre, and that was £18, 18.62. So that's it for the day. You'll see the full total up above. Can't remember, I haven't added it all up, but it will go up there. And that was done in 8 hours. I started at 10:30 this morning, and it's now 6:30, so I'm going to go and get the car washed and get ready for tomorrow. My first job tomorrow booked in is at one of my own Bristol airports, which is going down to Swansea, and that's pick up at, well, the plane's due in at 7:30 tomorrow evening. So I can have a lazy day tomorrow. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you had a really good Mother's Day. I put mine as being rather dodgy. Total mileage £201 2 201 miles, 201.2 miles. Average 4 miles per kilowatt hour, and driving time 7 hours 05. So that's it. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Till next time, safe driving, and make the money. Although now that the nicer weather's on its way, it can get a little bit difficult.